my God, what a long week it has been. I saw Captain Marvel last week, exactly 7 days ago on Saturday. Now, the reason I didn't review it on that day, I got home and the plan was to do it that night. I was going to do it on the Saturday night, but I was feeling a bit tired, so I thought I'd have an early night and do it the next day. Do it on a Sunday night, when every person does their best homework, is on a Sunday night, the day before school. No, the plan was to do it on a Sunday evening, but I woke up Sunday morning feeling absolutely terrible. All week I've had a very, very bad case of man flu. Any men out there can, testify to how bad that is. Any women out there, trust me, it's horrible. But I'm over the worst of it. I'm still feeling a bit bad, but I thought, why not just give you some of my thoughts on Captain Marvel? It's been a whole week. Everyone's done their reviews. Everyone who wanted to see it has already seen it. Anyone that isn't really that fussed about whether they want to see it or not doesn't really care about this review. But I'm going to tell you anyway. So some things may escape my brain because it has been a whole week, but I'm going to try my best. First off is that opening sequence, that the Marvel banner, the flipping comic book pages where they show us all of the Marvel characters that have been in the MCU for the last 10 years. Your Iron Man, your Captain America, Thor, Black Widow, Hawkeye, I'm not going to name all of them, but every single one is in that flipping page. They replaced all of those people with Stan Lee, the man, the god, the creator of all things Marvel. I know he's not exactly the creator of all things Marvel, but he is the spearhead. He is the figurehead of Marvel. They replaced him inside those flipping pages. All of his cameos that he's done in every single Marvel movie to date, he is in there. And oh my God, before the movie even starts, you're already crying because that man Stan Lee, rest in peace. It is an absolutely amazing ode to that man. They couldn't have done anything better, and I absolutely loved it. And again, it's a tear-jerking moment. As for the movie itself, there's going to be spoilers. So basically, Carol Danvers is a Kree warrior. She's fighting against the Skrulls with all of her Kree friends, all of her Kree warriors. They're trying to find some information, and she ends up crash landing on Earth, where she has a lot of memories. She doesn't really know where these memories are coming from. They're just sort of flashes when she's dreaming. As it turns out, she is a human. 6 years prior to this, it's one of those origin stories that sort of jumps back and forth. Kind of, they do a lot of memories where they throw you back to where she came from, but it's not too, mind-boggling. You don't really have to think about it. All you know is that she is a Kree warrior, but at some point she was a human. So that it's kind of all self-explanatory. But she goes on a mission through Earth, and she ends up meeting Nick Fury, and just that de-aging effect on Samuel L. Jackson to make him look like he's in 1995. Where this movie is set is incredible. It is almost flawless. I mean, if you go back to a Samuel L. Jackson movie from the 90s, spot on. Phil Coulson is actually in this movie as well, even though he died in Avengers, spoiler alert. His de-aging effect isn't as good. As weird as that sounds, but he's not in it that much. So I think they kind of skimped on it a little bit, so they didn't put too much focus on him. They saved all the good CGI for Samuel L. Jackson, but again, it shows because it is great. Now, they go on a little adventure to try and find some information about a hyperdrive that someone was trying to invent on Earth, which turns out to be the original Captain Marvel, who knew Carol Danvers when she was on Earth. This review is bad, it's all over the place, but I'm just giving you some of my thoughts throughout the movie. I think a lot of it was kind of, I want to say jumbled, that's not really the right word. A lot of it was kind of a bit up and down, a bit hit and miss. Now, the story itself is fine. It's a straightforward origin story, which is what you want from this kind of Marvel movie. It's not Iron Man, it's not Captain America, it's not those origin movies, it's not as good, but it does what it needs to do. It's setting you right back before the events of all of the MCU basically, and it's a tough task because we already know where it's going. So to go back to that point and get reinvested in the whole story, it's a tough thing to achieve. And in my eyes, they did achieve it. Again, it's not perfect. It's not Iron Man or Captain America level of origin movies, but it's enjoyable. It is good. There's a lot of action going on throughout the majority of this movie. You know, beat for beat. You know, you'd have a scene where they're having a conversation, and then all of a sudden, action scene. You know that she jumps into it. She jumps into a train, and she has an action scene. But that is not to its detriment. You know, it flows well. It flows nicely, and it doesn't throw you out of the story. If anything, it heightens the story and keeps it going, because a lot of people that go to see these movies, they don't want conversations through a whole 90 minutes to 2 hours. I know I don't. So the way that they have to chop and change these kind of scenes is, again, it's a tough task, and they all the movies in the MCU, I believe, manage it well. Some better than others, obviously, but this one does it just about right. It gets it just right, especially with all the characters involved as well. The head of the Skrull Army, I believe his name was Talos. I can't remember, played by Ben Mendelsohn. Absolutely amazing. And that Australian accent, oh, I don't know why it gets me. It just does. It is absolutely perfect. He's an amazing actor, and the level of, like, just greatness that he brings to this character, and lovableness. And is lovableness even a word? I don't think it is. I've just made it up. Copyright. The way that you fall in love with that character, even though he is the head of the bad guys. But spoiler alert, we find out that the Kree are the bad guys and the Skrulls are the good guys. They're kind of refugees. They're just trying to find a safe haven. They want to get away. They don't want to be in a war. Obviously, with all war, there's good and bad and good on both sides. But the characters that we focus on in this movie, the Kree warriors are arseholes, and the Skrull people are just trying to find somewhere to be safe. They want to go home, but they can't go home because there's a war there, so they have to find somewhere where they are welcome. And the whole point is they're trying to find the hyperdrive too. Remember, I mentioned that earlier. So yeah, it takes a little while for Carol Danvers to realise that this is what's happening and that she is on the wrong side of this war. So she steps up and she decides to help out the Skrull people that she finds on a ship. Now, again, very, run-of-the-mill origin story. You got all your beats. She's a hero that's got her powers. She doesn't know how to control her powers. She doesn't know the true extent of her powers, and then she finds out the extent of her powers, and she goes berserk and just basically flattens everyone because she is unbelievably powerful. I don't think that's a problem as such. Everyone's saying, oh, but she's the most powerful being in the MCU now. It's not going to be a fair fight. I don't think she's that powerful. I mean, she is. She can fly, she can shoot lasers, and she's very strong, but so is Thor. He can fly. He's very strong. He can't shoot lasers, but he can shoot lightning. Tony Stark in an Iron Man suit, he can fly. He's very strong. Clearly not as strong, but he can shoot lasers. So I'm not sure about Captain Marvel in the comics. I don't know her true height of her powers, so I don't know if they've dialed it down a bit. I'm guessing they have because, again, she is very powerful, but she's not going to be the solution, I think, to this whole MCU problem, which we're going to get to. Now, yeah, she helps out the Skrull people and she becomes a hero, and she decides that she wants to be a true hero and not go along with the Kree. So she takes the Skrull people and she takes them away at the end of the movie to try and find a safe haven for them so that they can live their life. Before she goes, she hands over a pager to Nick Fury, which we see at the end of Infinity War, so it all nicely ties together. It's all coming together for Endgame. And yeah, it's a good movie. It's funny, it's action-packed, it's heartfelt. There's all the beats that you want them to hit, they hit, and they do it very well. But it's not the best movie in the MCU by a long stretch. But it is also not the worst. I've heard a lot of rumblings over the internet over the last week that it's absolutely terrible, that it's a crap movie. People are giving it 5 and 6s out of 10. I don't think it's that bad. It's certainly not, the like I say, the worst movie in the whole cinematic universe. I'd give it maybe a 7 or a 7.5, but it can't be the worst, surely. I mean, have you seen The Incredible Hulk? Come on. But yeah, it's a good movie. Like I say, it does everything it says on the tin. It is what you want it to be. I don't know why people are so upset, because that's what they wanted it to be, and it is that. So why get upset? Just go along with it. Come on, it's been released a month before Endgame. It's not going to be more than what you thought it was going to be. It was never going to be the best movie in the world. But it's good. It is good. So I mean, I don't care what people think. I enjoyed it. So if you enjoyed it as well, let me know. Just a quick... I forgot to mention the cat. How can I forget the cat? Goose, the cat, absolutely unbelievable. Even before the twist with the cat, that cat is such an integral character in this whole movie, and somehow funny, even though it's just a cat. And the interaction with him and Nick Fury, absolutely amazing. And then it turns out to be an alien that eats the space stone, the Tesseract. Unbelievable, really. It's just incredibly funny, and probably the best character in this movie, which is a cat. But yeah, I'm going to go into the credits, the end credit scenes. The very end one I didn't stay for. I don't normally, because I normally find out beforehand roughly what they are, and I knew it was just a quick comedy scene with that cat. I wasn't fussed about waiting for it, even though I said that cat was the best character in this movie. But the mid-credit scene is from Endgame, which is coming very, very soon, and it got me very worked up, and it got me very excited, which is just what you want it to do. So yeah, the mid-credit scene, it's just a little snippet from Endgame. It is, I think it was Captain America, Black Widow, Thor, and Captain Marvel all stood in a room, and I think we actually get a bit more of that in the Endgame trailer, which I'm going to go into in my next video, because I'm going to do a trailer breakdown for that. But yeah, it was nice. It was just a nice little appetite, taster, just a little something to get us going and excited for Endgame, which we were anyway. I keep hitting my mic. I really should be careful. But yeah, that's my quick thoughts on Captain Marvel. I'm not the best at reviewing movies, but this is just how I think the movie went and what I enjoyed. And there's not really a lot that I didn't enjoy. Like I say, some of the CGI was not great. Some of the way they chopped and changed things wasn't really necessary, but best thing to do is go out and watch this movie for yourselves. I highly recommend it. And let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to give me a like and maybe subscribe to my channel. I will speak to you soon.